Hey, what's up, Blazer fans? Welcome to the Blazers Edge podcast. I am Tara Bowen-Biggs, joined as always by Blazers outsider Danny Marang. And
Hello. But more
Danny, you want to invite our special guest?
yes, we've been talking to him, trying to get him on for a while now. You know him as Trailblazers guard Anfernee "Ant" Simons. Ant, thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Good to be seen, huh?
Yeah. I've been in for a couple weeks.
So the question on everybody's mind is always, how is everybody passing their time these days? And can we pick up any tips from each other on how we can entertain ourselves while we're waiting for basketball to start? Anthony, what have you been up to?
Just, playing video games, watching movies. Just the normal stuff I used to do on my off time, but times 100 now.
Have you gotten into anything different and tried something new that you may not have otherwise?
No, not really. I mean,
just sticking to what you know.
Yeah, sticking to what I know. Trying to work out a little bit. Still get out, dribble the basketball, do push-ups, sit-ups, old-fashioned stuff.
That's the one I wanted to ask you first. Do you have a hoop that you can shoot on right now?
Yeah, I just got one in my driveway.
Okay, so you're not hoopless like some other guys.
No, I'm not hoopless. I'm out there shooting 4 times a week.
Okay, so you're still able to get out there and stay in the groove a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
You running somebody out there, measuring the height, making sure you're regulation.
We checked it yesterday. It's close. This might be like an inch too low.
You got to keep you off the rim. Got to keep you from dunking. That's the problem.
I know it. I think yesterday or 2 days ago was the first time I ever done it in like 3 weeks.
Oh, just no big deal. It's been 3 whole weeks.
It's been 3 weeks. That's a long time.
Are you with your family right now?
Yeah, it's me, my parents, and my dog.
So what are you doing to are you all, keeping to your own thing? Are you doing special family activities, playing games, hearkening back to the old days when you used to all be together all the time?
Maybe a little bit, but not that much. I mean, my parents do their own thing. They're always outside watching TV out there and playing with my dog. I go out there when I'm done and just go out there and play with him a little bit. Yesterday we actually played Uno last night, so that's one of the first things we did together.
Did you actually finish the game?
Yeah, I killed him.
That's all you gotta do is just get Ant in a competition, then it all turns upside down.
Yeah. They quit on me.
Oh, so it wasn't even a finished game. You forced the quit.
Yeah, we played like a total of 7 games. I won like 6 out of the 7.
Oh, geez.
Oh, wow. That sounds like a marathon session. Are you are you an Uno family, or do you have other games that you're going to have to turn to after we've been doing this for a couple more weeks?
No, because we play cards a lot. We play spades, a whole bunch of other card games as well.
There's something you and I were talking about the other night. We'll get through this one quick. Hassan Whiteside hopped on some 2K in front of some people, and I've heard that Hassan talked an awful lot about how good he is on the sticks, and then he lost by 30 to Patrick Beverley. What's going on here, Ant?
I don't even know. My mom just walked in.
It was just a one-off, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say anything because I don't play 2K. So,
what's your best game that you play?
I'll say Madden and Call of Duty because that's the only 2 games I play. I've actually, during this break, I started playing other games. So I've actually tried to venture out and play some games I would never think I would ever play.
What'd you work in the list?
3 games. The one I said it the other day, I said I didn't like, it was Smite.
Okay, yeah.
I haven't played it yet though.
Oh, okay.
2 other games. Dauntless. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
And Aladdin's.
What was the last one?
Paladins. It's like a. They say it's like a bad version of Overwatch.
Okay. Oh yeah, no, Paladins. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had to think about that one for a second. Yeah. Actually, it's the same company that makes Smite that makes Paladins. That's right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Tara's just like, I
don't know how you guys
about.
pick up video games. I don't know anything about video games, and there just seems like there's so many of them. I don't even know how you would decide what you're going to pick up.
You have to get started early. Like, only reason I'll give you a quick one. The only reason I got back into them is the Xbox came out. I don't sound old here. Xbox came out my senior year of high school, and when I went in the Air Force, when you're deployed, like there's only so many things you can do. And back in the day, you brought movies, DVDs, and then we had Xboxes. And I stole the projector from the office and took it with us and set the projector up in the tent, inside the tent, and we'd play games of Halo. And that's what got me back into video games in 2002, 2003. So, and then from there, you just kind of keep going. Ant probably just grew up with all of them.
Pretty much.
Well, I want to pivot for a sec to TV because Dan, you're going to be shocked to find out what I'm watching.
What are you back on Love Is Blind?
No, I'm not going back to Love Is Blind. I'm in 3 episodes into Tiger King.
Oh, okay.
Have you guys watched Tiger King yet?
Yeah. And these are your people. This is Florida people here.
I just want to know, Anfernee, like, are there that you know of from growing up? Are there like exotic animal sanctuaries around? Like, there's one in Oregon that is like advertised from the side of the road, and that's the only reason I know of it. But this documentary, turns out there's like all these animal sanctuaries all over the place, especially in the South and in your area. And I was like totally shocked to find that out. Like tigers and lions and elephants.
I mean, we have mountain lions. Yep, we see a lot of those. Coyotes, a lot of coyotes. Bears. Oof.
Really?
Oh my God. I mean, it's casual with it too. They walk in the middle of the road like nothing's going on.
I had no idea there were bears.
I remember one day we came back. I was younger, so I barely remember. We came back from like a basketball game, and the bear is raining, and the bear was just sitting there behind our fence, just eating out the trash can like it was nothing. He didn't care about it. He kept eating late at night. So bears, there's a lot of bears here. Of course, you got alligators. Those are, and one thing that I forgot that you don't see in Oregon is lizards.
So yeah, you got them everywhere, right?
Yeah. So when I came back home and I saw lizards, I'm like, I'm not used to seeing all these lizards around, just scattering all over the place.
Okay, tell me what it's like growing up with alligators, because that just terrifies me.
I mean, it's rare when you come up to them up close. Usually you see them from a distance. If you live by a lake, obviously you're going to see them a lot. But other than that, they don't mess with you. They're always on the water, or even then they're just sitting outside the water, just sitting there, not bothering anybody.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I could handle that.
All right, I have 2 questions that were submitted that were asked specifically for you. One from John Sabine, one of our Bulls outsiders. He wanted me to ask you, are you afraid of ghosts?
Am I afraid of ghosts?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't seen a ghost before.
Okay, so
I've seen a ghost before, but if I've seen one, I might be kind of freaked out about that one.
I have another one. She's a longtime listener, first time question. Her name's Amara. She wanted me to ask you how much you enjoy social media.
I love social media. Amara, right there.
Okay, which one's your favorite platform, I guess?
Like Twitter, 100%.
Right on. That's the correct answer.
There is a correct answer here.
Have you figured out how to do like TikTok? Have you like gone in that direction yet?
I'm not going to TikTok. That's when I know I hit a low point. It's like on TikTok.
I tried to do Snapchat and I couldn't make that work. How are you on Snapchat?
I'm alright on Snapchat. The only thing I post on Snapchat is like funny videos. I kind of screen record them and put them on my Snapchat. That's the only thing I use it for.
I can dig it. All right. Now, we don't want to sit here and ask you about a ton of the season or anything like that. We want this to be about you, what you go through on a day-to-day basis during the season, the real basketball stuff. So I sent you a couple questions to because I wanted you to have an answer that made sense to you and didn't feel like it was rushed or anything like that. So when you're working on a skill, whether it be ball handling, shooting, defense, what's the process that you go through to go, okay, I'm here right now. Here's where I want to be. How do I get from A to B? Like, what is it that you go through on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month, like goal basis?
Basically just starting with the basics. Starting with the basics, perfecting that, and then moving on to something more, a little bit more advanced, and then eventually you're going to be elite at all those things, and eventually, you're going to be good at, that one particular dribbling thing that you need to do. So, I think it's just by starting with the basics and working hard at those to make sure you perfect that to be able to get past that.
Kind of playing off of that, when you want to add something to the game, I know you're a Kobe guy, but beyond like the greatest of the greats, when you're watching film and you're like, I want to be able to do that, who are the guys that you look at that you think your game kind of mimics or that it follows to how you want to play? Who are the guys that you look at and who are the guys that you want to take from and add to your style of game?
Probably like Lou Williams, but I mean, obviously I'm taller than him, athletic. So probably him to take stuff from his game because he's been in the league for a long time. He's being who he is. Who else? It's tough. Like during the draft process, people compare me to Monte and George Hill. I got those two, so that I've watched those a couple of times and see what they do well and see how they approach the game as well.
Noticing a lot of combo guards in here. You've got two guys on your team who are kind of in that same mold that they can interchange 1-2 and Dame and CJ. Working with those guys day in, day out, what is the thing that you take from them? And I have my own thought on this. Like, what is the one thing that you think you've taken from each one of those guys the most?
I mean, just the way they approach the game. I mean, they, obviously, they're two different players and they approach the game two different ways. So you kind of see with both sides of how, this guy approached the game and this guy approached the game and see how they're different and see how that works for them. So, CJ approached the game pretty simple. Go out there and hoop. Just go out there and hoop and play your game and play the way you play. So is Dame. Dame's gonna obviously he's the leader of the team, so he has to approach it, a little bit different than CJ does. Dame he's the point guard, so he has to make sure everybody gets involved. Make sure he's basically leading us to a victory and making sure we're all okay. He also said the same thing to like me. He just says go out there and play the game and go out there and play with confidence.
Speaking of playing with confidence, you look to add something to your game all the time. When you came in the league, we had a panel. I actually went back and watched this the other day. We had, 5 guys who were talking about you as a pick and what you could do. We all knew you could score. And I think what surprised me the most about your game this year throughout, 60 games, was how much more you were trying to get to the rim and be aggressive in that facet. That's not something that just happens. So when you're practicing, because we obviously don't get to see you practice, but when you're practicing, when you're going about adding something to your game, how long do you work on it for? When do you feel comfortable implementing that in the game? Because a lot of folks don't get to see you go through warm-ups every game. but you go through a pretty lengthy warm-up process where you're working on a lot of different things.
Mhm.
How long is it before you feel comfortable taking a skill? Like, for example, I've seen you go when you're attacking the rim where you're doing a little bit of a fade now,
Mhm.
fading away from the rim to try to avoid that contact. That's something you started to show a little bit towards the end of the season. How long were you working on that before you were like, okay, I can do this in a game now?
Just trying as much as you can during the practice times. Because practices were some days were not contact, so you couldn't really work on it against live body. So during those times, you gotta kind of mimic it as much as you can. And then the game is more of just going out there and playing to make sure you're trying to get the best shot as you can and go out there playing smart. But those getting to the rim wasn't say one of the things that I did often. So those are the things that I try to work on and try to expand my game, because that would just open up everything else if I be able to get to the rim. Then it'll open up my jump shot, which is where I'm most comfortable at.
Okay, I know you. This is probably one you're going to get excited about at least a little bit, and I'll let Tara ask a couple questions here. What has been your top 3 favorite plays so far that you've been a part of?
Plays?
Yeah. Instances, anything. So I'll throw one out there. I don't know, cutting baseline and dunking in Miami.
Yeah, that's one of them. Let's see.
I tell you when I remember while you're thinking. The one, I think it was against Philadelphia, that would have been the game winner. It was sweet.
The corner
and
3.
They just got super unlucky that they had a chance to come back and win it. But that was awesome. That was such a great start to the season. I love that.
That would have been great if I got that game.
I just prefer to think that that's where the game ended. Like, I make up my own versions of what happened. And I just prefer to think that the game ended on an Anfernee Simons 3. It was awesome.
Let's see. Clippers game was one of my favorite games to be a part of. I think I scored like 15 in the fourth quarter. That's one of my favorite games. Then the second time when we played the Clippers, I forgot I did some move, but that was probably one of my favorite moves that I did this year. So,
is that when you caught Shamet?
No, caught Shamet. No. It's in transition, and it's probably the simplest play, but I liked it so much.
What about it was that you liked so much?
I was, coming down, and Paul George was guarding me, and I crossed over, went back to the middle, did an in and out, and then
at the free throw line, right?
Yeah, and then I laid it to left hand with Kawhi right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably one of my favorite plays too.
Yeah, getting by 2 all-world defenders and finishing at the rim would probably be pretty high on my list too.
Yeah. I bet that felt so good. Do you I'm always amazed when I hear basketball players talk about how much they remember specific plays that they've made. Is that something that sort of happened over time, or even when you were a real young kid and you played, after the game was over, could you remember all the highlights of what happened?
At a young age, maybe not as much as now, but then back then I really didn't, when I was elementary school and middle school, I didn't really pay attention to all the plays that I played, and I was just going out there playing. But now it's more, obviously in the business of basketball, so you got to, know your plays, know your craft. So I think now I can remember mostly every play, most of them, at least 90%.
And I bet you go back and watch film, and that helps you remember it as well. They probably didn't have quite as much film on you when you were in 4th grade, although mom and dad probably had some good footage.
Oh, for sure. I mean, me and my parents were looking just now. We had a whole thing of CDs.
Uh-huh.
My dad bought a DVD player, and we've been watching it for the past 2 weeks. So
is that why we're seeing Anfernee Simons highlights popping up on Instagram?
Oh no, those not those. Those are the ones I just saved on my phone.
Oh, okay.
From 2 years ago, but no, those are elementary school, 6th grade, 5th grade.
Oh, okay.
there's probably like 100 games in there.
Oh my
Oh,
God,
wow.
how fun.
Yeah.
Movie night watching old highlights. That's awesome.
Yeah, mine will be a short reel.
I think I played basketball for one season in 7th grade, and I think I made one bucket. So I think that mine would be real short. I was a soccer player. In my defense, it's not that I didn't play sports; it's just that I played a different sport. So Anfernee, I'm not sure if your mom mentioned it to you, but I was lucky enough to have her on the Women's Hoops and Talks podcast with my friend Cassidy, and I got to talk to your mom, and that was super fun to hear her talk about you and how proud she is of everything that you've done and all the hard work you've put in. I wonder if you could speak for just a moment on like some of the ways that your parents helped out and influenced you as you made this journey into the NBA.
No, they've been here for me every step of the way. Since I was little, my dad basically put the ball in my hand. I grew up watching my dad play like local rec leagues and stuff and programs. So I've always been around it. My dad saw I could be really good at a young age. Like it was too young, like 6. So after that, like when I turned 7, we just started working out with my guy dad, Kenny. So ever since then, I've just been working out throughout elementary school, middle school. Every day after elementary school, I would go straight to the park and work out. So, and my mom was always there to save me when my dad was too hard on me. So that was great.
Right on. What do you remember about draft night?
A long night. Felt like it was like 2 hours before I got picked. And just a lot of emotions, especially from everybody else, seeing everybody else so happy for me and all my family there and seeing those people that, saw me grow up and become the player who I am.
And I will have a couple questions sort of about kind of how life has changed for you since you came in the league. They're easy questions, don't worry. They're not deep philosophical questions. Like how have you stepped up your fashion game since you became an NBA player? They got their cameras on you every night walking in there.
It's still Team Nike Pro Fleece.
Yeah, exactly. I've never been like a real dress code guy like that my whole life. So I always, even in high school, it's coming there with basketball shorts every day, hoodie every day, running shoes. That's it. So there'll be a couple of days where I just dress up, put some jeans on. But other than that, I like to stay comfortable.
So Carmelo Anthony and Gary Trent Jr. haven't rubbed off on you on the fashion sense yet.
Now that I can, afford to get a couple things that I wouldn't afford a couple years ago, I will grab them just because I like them. It looks good.
What's the one splurge thing you've done since you've been in the league?
Splurge thing?
Yeah.
I like shoes, so if I'm gonna buy something expensive, I'm gonna buy some expensive shoes.
What was the one pair that you just had to grab?
I bought some Nikes. I think it was some off-white Nikes. I think Serena Williams ones. I think so. I think it was those.
Okay.
But those are probably the most expensive shoes that I bought ever.
It was an on-site kind of deal.
Yeah, it was. I bought them at Flight Club. So.
Oh, okay.
Everybody on Twitter who follows me knows that I love what I call the pink shoe shift, which is when you guys wear your pink shoes. Naz wears his a lot, and I think there's been times before when either you or Gary wear your pink shoes, and I just love it because it stands out. It's easy to watch on the court, and it's like, oh, the shift is in. So everybody, I always note that on Twitter whenever the pink shoe shift is in. So this is my plug for continuing to wear pink shoes because
I'm gonna continue to wear pink shoes.
Right on.
I've been wearing pink shoes for a while also. My AU team back in high school was pink, so I'm used to wearing pink.
It's so easy to follow when you come on with those, and also like Dane with his highlighter shoes. I mean, I'm older, my eyes are going bad, so anything that makes it easier for me to track what everybody's doing. Well, I have a question about when you came into the league. Do you recall any advice that any of the veterans gave to you that you found particularly useful?
The main things that I always remember is um, just be yourself. Don't let anybody change you. Just because you get around a whole bunch of guys that are at this level, you know, stay true to yourself and be who you are. I mean, that's the one thing that like somebody like ET used to tell me. He's like, man, you won't get nothing out of Anfernee. He's always being who he is and staying who he is. So that's one of the things that I try to carry myself as and continue to be who I am. Don't let anything change me.
Quick little one that I just thought of here that I think I have a feeling how this one goes, but are you superstitious at all?
Yes and no.
Yes and no?
Yes and no.
What superstitions do you have, and what makes you have them?
Like I can only wear one sock. I mean, that's basic stuff like that. Every time I wear two socks, I don't shoot the ball well at all. So I always take the one sock. That's
Wait,
just one thing.
like only one sock on one foot?
Yeah.
Or like you don't layer two socks, or do you have like?
I don't layer two socks.
Okay, I thought you were just saying like you only wore a sock on one foot. I was like, that's a new one. Like I haven't heard that one before. Okay.
A lot of people wear two socks and have all this extra stuff under their foot. So yeah, that's it. I wear tape and one sock. That's it.
So nothing too crazy. So not afraid of ghosts yet, and nothing too crazy on superstitions. Okay, you're checking out.
Dan, should we move it? Oh,
I feel like it's a mental game with that one. So that's one of those things. Just like you in your own head. That's what I feel like.
Yeah. Is there anybody in the locker room who we don't have to name any names? Just is there anybody in the locker room who's just way over the top superstitious?
No, I don't think so. No.
Everybody checks out normal.
Yeah, they're pretty.
Well, we've got a bunch of listener questions. We'll kind of go through these, and the first one's here from at Credence 26. Can you ask him what the coaches want him to focus on when he's out on the floor? And also, what does his day look like basketball-wise with this crazy time? So let's talk about the first part of that. When the coaches are giving you guys your marching orders, what are they telling you to do in practice, and what are they telling you to do? What's your goal to accomplish when you get out on the floor every time?
Just go out there, basically play hard, play defense. That's number one thing. And go out there and be aggressive and be yourself. They know I can score the ball, and they want me to go out there and be aggressive anytime I can. So I think those are the two things just to focus on when I'm out there.
Okay, I'm going to give you one quick one. You get to pick one way or the other. Pick and roll or DHO?
Pick and roll, 100%.
Okay. Why is it you want to go on the pick and roll?
I feel like you got more options and you can see it better. See the whole court and see where you can attack at better. So, I mean, even though DHOs do work 90% of the time, you're able to get that one pull up or get to the rim or hit the big on the roll. It's just something about having the ball in your hands that's way better.
the creativity aspect of it?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. The second part of that, you've already kind of answered this, but I'll let you kind of elaborate on it. What does your day look like basketball-wise now that basketball is kind of on hold?
During the season or like right now?
Let's do both. During the season, what does your day look like so people have an understanding, and then what is it like now so they can kind of compare and contrast the two?
Okay, so days we don't have a game, we'll have practice. We'll have practice probably around 11, maybe. So I'm waking up at around, practice at 11. we have to be there about 10:15 on the court. I would say I'm waking up around 8:30. 8:30, get up, brush my teeth and go straight to the gym. Go eat breakfast, and I have probably I would say an hour just to chill before I have to be out on the court. I like to get that hour in. So I'm probably in a hot tub or something, looking at my phone for 40 minutes before I have to go out there on the court. Just to have a little time before I have to lock in and go out there and have practice.
Get loose, get your mind right.
Yeah. So practice go from 11 to 12:30, maybe. After that, then we just get shots up or go lift. And then you're probably done, and I'm probably done and out by 2:30. So I'm there basically from 9 to 2. So.
And now, what does it look like?
Go home and take a nap, or go home and play some game. Play my video games for the rest of the day. So it depends on how I'm feeling. If I'm feeling sleepy, then I'm definitely going to sleep, watching a movie till I fall asleep, or just playing my video games. And depending on the day how I feel, I'll probably go back in and get some more shots of it in the practice facility.
Okay. Let's see. What's another good one here?
Can I ask a follow-up one on
that?
Yeah,
go.
One of the things that I hear a lot from people right now during this COVID episode is that people are disconnected from the people that they usually hang out with the most. Like for me and my coworkers, we all work remotely, and so we, connect via video chat and stuff like that. How are you able to keep in touch with your teammates and your friends that you're not able to see like you used to?
We're always keeping in contact through social media. We'll send each other a post or something and talk about the post, or I'll text them about a new song that came out or something like that, and we'll always talk about that.
Saw Coach Kenyon had you guys leading a workout with you guys on was it Zoom then too?
Oh yeah. So we're gonna do that every Monday. So that's gonna be good for us, and have all the young guys be on there and do a Zoom workout. So that'll be cool too.
Cool.
From Blazer Fan 72 at Hecubus01, what is your biggest takeaway from the season now that you're in the rotation?
Let's see. Probably just the preparation. We actually have to prepare for the game now. Last year it's more I'm not dressing out, so it's not I don't have to get mentally prepared to play an actual game each and every night. Last year I could have probably just, after I'm doing my workout, I'm chilling.
You're redshirting?
Yeah, I'm basically chilling and getting ready to go out there and watch them play and that stuff. So this year is more of getting mentally prepared for the game and just being locked in.
What's the process you go through on a game night when you get to the arena? What are the steps that you go through to get ready for a game?
Walk in, listen to my music. While I was listening to music, I'm looking at our little iPads and watching mostly all the players that's on the scouting report. So that's pretty much it. That takes up I get there out before I shoot, so that probably takes up 30 to 40 minutes of my time just watching them. And after that, I'm just getting my shoes and stuff ready, going to get taped because I got to get taped because I'm the last person to shoot. And that's pretty much it. It's probably an hour of mental preparation.
I wanted to ask you about that. Is there a veteran pecking order to who gets to go shoot first, or that just kind of work out?
It's more of obviously the veterans choose first at what time they want to have, and obviously I think nobody wanted the last slot. For me, they asked me if you can get the first spot, which is be there super early, or you get the last one. So I like to be in between, but obviously everybody wants to be in between.
Yeah.
So I chose the last one. I didn't personally, I didn't like going early.
I mean, who does?
last year. But I mean, last year wasn't that bad because like, I mean, there'll be days
You can shower and change.
Yeah, I can shower and change real quick right before we even meet for the game. So.
What do you listen to? Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, Derek.
I'm curious about what do you listen to? Do you listen to the same thing all the time, or do you have different things you listen to depending on your mood?
No, I just go to songs and press shuffle. And if I feel like listening to that song, I'll listen to it. If not, I'll just keep pressing until I find a song that's, that I want to listen to.
Till it hits right?
Yeah.
You have any suggestions for ones that to help people get particularly hyped up?
Honestly, no. I don't really listen. I don't feel like I listen to hype music before the game. Oh. Depends on if it come on, if I'm in the mood for it. But other than that, I'm listening to like basically moderate stuff. Nothing
just to get your mind clear and focused.
Taking a little bit from mellow, getting some slow jams on before.
Yeah, for sure.
He did have a second part to his question, a little less serious. Red Vines or Twizzlers?
I'm not a big candy guy, so I mean,
it's okay. It's a little weird not having a candy guy in the locker room. You know that, right?
Yeah, I don't eat candy like that.
Okay.
I mean,
that's an excellent choice and a very healthy choice.
I've had a Twizzler before. I mean, it was all right.
It's all right. We'll just mark you down as Team Twizzler.
It's not that eeasy. He had a Twizzler and he never went back for other red items.
All right, this is going to springboard us a little bit here. Harrison Smith wants to know why you never wore the Bape Dame Force. I think there's a pretty good answer for this.
I mean, I would if I was with Adidas. But I'm with Nike, so I gotta wear Nike.
Sarah, you had a follow up on that one.
Yeah, how does that work when you decide like what sneaker you're gonna go with? What's that process like?
Probably before the season, the equipment manager comes to us and asks us what shoes we want to wear this year, and I tell him like, I really don't know, so like, can you get one of each, and I'll just try them all out. So I'm gonna try every shoe that came out during that time, and I kind of basically choose which ones I like, or I bring some. I order a lot during the summer, so I got a whole bunch of shoes that I knew I liked, and old shoes I used to wear during high school, and buy brand new ones. So I mean, that's basically the process.
Are the guys with the PEs like Dame and CJ? They're like, hey, why aren't you wearing Adidas? Why aren't you wearing Li Nings? Or they just leave you alone?
No, they leave me alone. Yeah, they don't really talk about that like that. Most of the time, it's like somebody comes to me like, oh, let me get a Li Ning deal, or let me get an Adidas deal.
All right. Let's see. 20,000 Thorns wants to know how your family is doing during all of this, and they said they're kind of worried about where Florida is going to be in a couple of weeks. So we've kind of touched on it already, but how is the whole family handling everything? How's everything going for you guys?
Oh, we're great. I mean, we have no problem staying at home. Not like my dad loves it that we're staying at home and we're in Florida in the hot sun. He just loves it. I mean, he doesn't want to go out at all. Even I asked him like to come go pick me up some food or something. He don't want to do it.
Are y'all like cooking a lot more or picking up any hobbies or anything? I've seen a lot of people have started baking and started sewing and doing all kinds of crafts. You got anything you're thinking about if it goes on much longer?
I don't know. I like to stick to the bread and butter. Just playing my video games. That's it.
I thought you were saying you're actually sticking to like bread and butter when you're cooking. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, no. I mean, I cook a little bit too, though. So,
what's your best meal that you can cook?
Chicken Alfredo.
Oh, so it goes with bread and butter. Okay.
That's probably my best one. So,
are you a white sauce or red sauce guy?
That's tough. I do both.
Do both?
If I had to choose, I do red because a lot of things go with red sauce.
Smart man.
You make lasagna, ziti, spaghetti, all that.
Yeah, white sauce you can only really do with chicken, so it's kind of like.
Yeah.
All right, Abdi wants to know: do you know all of Gary Trent Jr.'s little brothers' names?
Do I know all the names?
Yeah, because they're all forms of Gary.
I know. I think, man. I mean, Gary talk about him all the time. So it's like he has a lot of little brothers. So I would think one of them is like Garrison.
Mm-hmm. That's one.
That's one I do remember.
That's the I think that's the easy one because it's Gary and it just kind of works in.
Gary told me all their names, but I forgot.
Hey, you can just go with Gary, and Gary.
Yeah.
We'll let you bail out on that one. But he also wants to know, what's the funniest Gary Trent Jr. story you have?
The funniest Gary Trent story?
Mm-hmm. That you can safely say.
I don't know. Gary's a character, man. It was times last year, we would play the game and stuff, 2K, and last year all the young guys was big on Fight Night. Even though I didn't play Fight Night, I used to go in there and watch him play Biggie and Wade, and they'll just be going at it all day playing Fight Night, and I'll just be sitting there watching them. So I got a couple of videos too on my phone, or I'm just recording them arguing and stuff about the game, about the fights and stuff. So that's probably one of the funniest moments with them.
The most serious action actually happens off the court.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. I believe that's what we have for listener questions. Tara, what else you got?
Well, I just want to say how nice it is to have a chance to talk with you, Anfernee. One of the things that has been really fun is just watching over the season has been watching the young players develop. And like I said, that pink shoe shift with you guys, Naz and Gary Trent, seeing you guys have a chance to come out and get more playing time, that's always exciting. And we're all looking forward to seeing what happens next. Is there anything else that you want to that you want to tell folks or share about, like how you're coping with this time, or anything at all like that? Words of wisdom to leave us with. I think it's been, what I'm getting at is I think it's been really cool how people in the NBA have been were first to understand that this virus was a serious thing, and that to take it seriously. And then people have been doing a lot of things to just kind of cheer up NBA fans by doing fun videos and doing Instagram live things like that. And I just think that fans are really happy when you do something like take time to come on and talk with us and answer all our silly questions. And I think it's been really fun.
I think the NBA does a good job of, staying connected with the fans and making sure we're still engaged. Obviously, they're still playing old games that a lot of people don't remember, but, like finals games back 10 years ago. So, it's cool to see those games now because I understand the game more, and seeing why they won, or why, this play happened, or why this play happened. So, I think they're trying to keep the fans connected as much as possible by doing stuff like the 2K tournament and stuff like that.
Here's one I got to ask you that kind of plays off that. Have you watched the 2000 Western Conference Finals?
2000?
Uh-huh. The one that haunts Blazers fans forever.
I have.
You have?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, that's right. You're a Kobe guy. I forgot.
But I watched it later on. Obviously, then I didn't watch it.
Yeah, no. On the replays.
I lived in the East Coast, so it was rare when I seen the Western Conference game.
What's one of the old games that you've watched over the last couple of weeks or anything like that was that kind of blew you away?
The ones I remember the most probably and watching the game was probably the Heat. He played in the finals.
The Maverick series.
Mavericks, yeah. That was a really good series. I mean, it was.
Yeah, no, it was a great series.
What was the other one? It came on like last night or 2 days ago. Boston? Was it
the Boston LA series.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was at 09. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get going, what's your outside of obviously the season being shut down? You talked about with Jason Quick the other day how this is about you climbing the mountain and you don't know how steep it is. What's been your biggest takeaway from this season? The good, the bad, the in between. When you look back on it, if this is how the season ends, what's the biggest thing that you take away from it?
Like I said before, like, staying true to yourself and continue to do the things that got you here. So even though like maybe you're tired one day from having back to back, if you need to go to the gym and get extra shots up just to keep yourself, engaged and keep going, that's what you need to do. And so, those two are the things that, maybe we didn't do during the beginning of the season because I thought I was tired and do stuff. But later on during the season, I started to do it more and do it more and more. And then obviously, those same things came back from the beginning of the season where, I'm playing better and staying sharp as well. So, those are the things that I'll probably carry on for the rest of my career.
Awesome. All right, Ant, just want to thank you for joining us, man. Anything you want to plug here? Maybe a website that you've got?
Ooh. Yeah, you can
Did you see what shirt I'm wearing?
Buy the Ant merch at www.theanfreneesimons.com.
And remember, water is not wet.
It's not, actually.
You saw Terry's shirt, right?
I know, I saw it. It's not.
I am the envy. People get so envious when I walk into this room and I'm like, you can go buy one too, and you can have this wisdom right on your chest like I do.
All right, Ant, thanks for joining us, man. It's been great. Hope you and the family are doing well. We'll catch up. We'll get some more COD action in because you and I ain't busy for the next couple of weeks. So
I was going to ask you if you're going to be on Warzone tonight because I'm going to be on.
Yeah, I'll be around. I'll text you.
For sure.
All right, Ant. Take care, buddy. Appreciate you.
Guys, thank you.
Should I take us out of here? Or
yeah, let me go ahead and you know what? Screw it. Just go ahead and run it.
okay. Let's see. What are we doing? Oh, we're ending the show now. All right. Well, thank you so much, for everyone, for joining us tonight. And thank you, Anfernee, for joining us and answering all of our questions. If you want to find the Blazers Edge podcast, you can find it in the Blazers Edge podcast feed or at blazersedge.com. You can find me on Twitter at TCBBiggs. Danny, why don't you take us out of here?
All right, folks. Thanks again, Ant, for joining us. You can find me on social media at DANNYMARANG. You can find Anfernee Simons at ANFERNEESIMONS on social media as well. Again, Ant, thanks for joining us, man. We really appreciate it. And stay safe. Keep your mind right, and I'll catch you on some COD here in a bit. For everybody else listening, take care, and we'll catch you guys next week.